Hey, everybody, welcome back to another discussion of The Last of Us. Now, we are finally at episode 6. We have one episode left. I just don't know how they're going to wrap this up in one more episode. I feel like there's still a lot of other members of the group that Ellie needs to go after that need to be handled. And there's the whole plot point that I think it's going to end on at the end of the season that I don't really want to spoil just yet. But that's coming up in. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they're going to do this in one episode. I mean, it is possible that the huge cliffhanger I'm thinking of is the beginning of the next season, but I just don't know where exactly they're going to end on this season unless it revolves around the murder of one particular person. So the episode starts. We have a little background showing Joel's past and Tommy's past and their father, and that was cool. I mean, I never really thought about that, but yeah, that kind of adds like a different layer to Joel's character. Like he wants to be good for his kid. He had a chance. He lost his daughter. He got another daughter in Ellie, and just goes to show like you may not always do everything perfect, but you try to improve and be better. It just resonated with me. It's like, you want to be a good dad. You want to do better. You want to provide for your child. And that just really stuck with me, especially as the episode went on. I mean, then you kind of have a flash forward, a flashback to Ellie's 15th birthday. And, they're going to the museum, and you have that whole scene where she's fascinated with space. And what does Joel do? He brings her to the rocket, and they're sitting there, and she's kind of pretending like, okay, I'm going to go to space. And he gives her the little earbuds, and that was a cool scene. It was cool, like seeing her so happy and just being with Joel. And then it goes on to the next birthday. It's a little bit worse. Joel brings the same cake like he did the previous year, except this year it's chocolate, and kind of barges in on her, and she's got another girl in the room, and they're doing drugs, and she's getting a tattoo, and they're kind of undressed. So that kind of blows up, and that's where you see Ellie trying to move out to the garage. It was kind of cool to see how that all went down. Joel actually sits there and talks to her, and he's like, maybe that wasn't right. Give me a minute. The garage is not livable. Maybe it would be good for you to have your own space. So she moves out there, and then we flash forward again a couple years, and you see Ellie kind of preparing to readdress this whole issue with Joel. Like, what exactly happened? What did you do? What happened? There's not a bunch of other immune people. Then Joel comes in and surprises her. He's like, I'm going to take you on a patrol. So this all gets pushed back. And, this is, of course, when they run into Eugene. So you see Eugene, and he's kind of like begging, like, please, I just got bit. I'm fine. Take me to go see my wife. Let me say my goodbyes. And I just want to hear her last words. I want to see her before I die, please. So they have this moment between Joel and Ellie where Ellie's like, let's do it. Let's bring him back. We could tie him up and it'll be fine. It's one guy. We got this. So Joel promises and just sends her away, and it's like you could tell in her eyes she knew what he was gonna do, but he promised, so she did it. She went away, and sure enough, Joel ends up shooting Eugene and denies him his one last request. And it just goes to show, like, Joel is so focused on protecting Ellie, he doesn't even realize that he's hurting her. And he's very stiff and rigid and by the books, and that gets him into trouble. But he loves Ellie, and he wants to protect her. So after this, we go back to the town, and I didn't really know what was going to happen. You had Joel kind of laying it out. This is what we're going to do. We're not going to tell her anything extra. And Ellie pretty much just denies that. She's like, no. Well, everything Joel told you is a lie. This is how it went down. She totally betrays him, and that hurt. I was sitting there, like, you see Joel, he's like stunned. He's like, why would you do that? I don't know. I just really liked how they had this whole episode tied together. It's not what I expected. I thought we'd be going into this with a lot of violence. Thought Ellie would be going on a murder fest in Seattle, and they chose to focus a whole episode on this flashback, which I guess it makes sense. Like, you don't want to continuously be flashing back throughout the course of the season, but they decided to focus on it for one whole episode. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to mull this over. I mean, I really liked it. I liked the themes that they were dealing with here. You then have the dance. You see Joel's perspective as he kind of barges in to protect Ellie. He hasn't seen her in 9 months, and somebody's going after her, and he stands up for her. He pushes the guy down, and Seth falls to the floor, and then it blows up in his face again. Ellie just couldn't give him any kind of victory, just totally shut him down. And then you see a talk between them at the end of the night, which I don't think we really saw the full conversation in the game. So this was kind of cool too. They made up, which makes the whole thing even more sad because they did make up. They were going to try and make things right. Joel confessed everything to Ellie. He made it right. He told her what was going on, and they buried the hatchet. And then, of course, he dies. God, that adds a whole other wrinkle to the next part of the story, but it's the cycle. It's hard. How do you break the cycle? You got to just be the best person you can be, and it show's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. It's a little different than the game, but the changes they're making, I don't think matter too much. It's definitely telling its own story. It's a little bit softer than the game. The game is pretty hard. It's pretty violent and brutal. This softens it up just a little bit. It focuses more on the emotional aspects, and yeah, it's a show about loss. Yeah, that may be one of my favorite episodes of the whole season so far. So I don't know. Let me know what you think down in the comments section below. I think this was great. We have one episode left, so we'll see what happens next week. I feel like there's a lot of stuff that they could do, and I'm very curious to see how it ends. But anyways, that's all I got for this week, so leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this episode. Until next time, I'll see you later. Goodbye.